Morning, fellow Malaysians. This is Matthias Chang once again from Future Fast Forward. I'd like to inform you that this is a pre-recorded video address, as I'll be away and won't have the time to make a video address in the usual format as before. And many friends have actually asked me, soon after the first anniversary of the Pakatan Harapan victory over the BN parties of scumbags and kleptocrats, I replied that I do not normally react to circumstances, to slogans or headlines, without first researching, analyzing the comments by political, religious and social leaders across the entire divide. And I'd like to see whether they have focused on the principal issues, what they have missed out, and more importantly, what has been totally shown by the comments, even by the leaders themselves, that what they've been saying have been totally irrelevant and no impact on the riot. Therefore, in so-called reviewing, some say celebrating, the first anniversary of Pakatan Harapan, we must be very, very honest with ourselves before we plan to move ahead. I don't intend to make any criticisms, but to share with you some of my observations and for you to think whether my observations make sense to you or is a bunch of idiotic rants, nonsense comments, as some people accuse me of doing. Minority, scumbags, armchair critics, mainly accountants. Okay? So, I would like to pose to all the leaders of the Pakatan Harapan parties, as well as BN leaders, this question. If today you are to relive as if today is the 9th of May 2018. From that day one, when Tun Mahathir was sworn into power on the 10th of May, what would you have done differently, if at all? From 10th of May, to 9th of May 2019, would you have done anything different? This is a very important question to be posed and to be received honestly, sincerely, by anyone who is in a position of power, leadership, and responsibility. We all make mistakes. That's a given. Alright? But if we do not reflect whether what we have done in the past could have been improved or executed differently, then we will repeat our mistakes and make wrong assumptions. So the first question I want to share with all of you, my fellow riots, and I hope you will pose to all your MPs, your adults, and the ministers in power, as well as the opposition leaders in parliament. If you have to relive 2018 again till now, 10th of May, last week, what we have done differently, if at all. Right? Okay. Having posed that question, and following all my previous videos, addresses to all of you, you will know that I've been very critical insofar as the narrative or the conversation, the national narrative and the conversation which the whole country was misled into engaging. Alright? There were several surveys of opinion polls conducted by various organizations. And I can tell you, all the results of those polls are bunkum, nonsense. Yet they carried headlines. Alright? Because in any polls or survey, the response depends on the question posed to the surveyed people. Okay? if you've been part of the survey, instead of asking the critical question, you ask some nonsensical question, your answer will be different as to the reality that's happening in this country. Alright? I won't mention what are the polls, but I can say without fear of contradiction. I can take them on any time. And I can go with them to the streets. And will show that whatever they ask, the response from the public will be very, very different from the question I pose and their answers. Now, there's one poll, I'm told, that was done by this, hold on, I'll refer to the meaning later. This is the Star newspaper on Thursday, 9th May. Buck up and deliver. This is the front page, right? Buck up and deliver. You got it? The first one is 19.2%. And the topic is, right, on what interests and privileges of Malays and Bumiputra safeguarded, the institutions of the Malay rulers upheld, and interests in Islam defended. 19.2%. Okay? Second, 18.3%. One prices of essential items lowered and cost of livelihood reduced. 50.6%. One country's economic growth improved and more foreign investments to pour in. 15.0%. One racial and religious harmony promoted. 10.5%. One salaries and basic incomes of citizens increased. Okay, you got it? These are the percentages. Some are actually inconsistent with each other, but never mind, very simple. 19.2% of a poll consists of about just over 1,000 people surveyed gave that answer. 90% what interests and privileges of Malays and Bumiputra safeguarded, the institutions of Malay rulers upheld, and interests of Islam defended. 19.2%. They never tell you, of the 19.2%, how many are Muslims or Malays who answer in that way. That is what they want, the priority. How many are Chinese, Indians, Kadazans, Sarawakans, or Sabahans? 90.2% is nonsense. It's a minority. Of 100%, 19.2% of a class of people in a survey, just over 1,000 people, say that it's a priority. Number one priority. Is it? Of course, in this survey, it looks as if it's a number one priority. It is not number one priority, I'm telling you. The number one priority is like the 80% who disagreed that that is the issue. Right? Can you see that? They like to say the majority did not consider it as a priority. Only 90.2%. Likewise, 80.3%. Prices of essential items lowered and cost of living reduced. What are these items? Never give you the details. Second priority, and what have you. My point I'm making is this, very simple. My fellow Malaysians. It's so simple, but scumbags, purveyors of propaganda and slogans, to brainwash you and to control a narrative so that you be led by the nose and your emotions aroused. Right? You're incited to take the narrative as the most important. It is not, it's a minority. And I'm going to show you this narrative coming from the Star newspaper regards who is the one or the organizer who conducted the survey. Essentially what? Najib Razak's narrative. Najib Razak, UMNO scumbags, and past scumbags narrative. They want to make it as the principal narrative. All right? To arouse the Malays, to arouse the Muslims, and allegedly those who want to defend their constitution. The so-called champions of race, religion, and constitution. Bullshit. 19.2%. And we all get worked up. And every leader, almost every leader in the Pakatan Harapan fell for it and believed that that was the most important narrative and conversation which they must address. They were reacting, understand? Reacting. Where was the narrative of their own? They were more overwhelmed, right? Aroused by a stupid slogan, Malu apa, bosku. They got excited, right? Did they really analyze the results of the 3 by-elections which they lost? They say, after each by-election which they lost, we must do a post-mortem. We must assure our people we are addressing their problems, blah, 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 blah. Have you heard of any narrative? There was not a reaction to the nonsensical rubbish coming out of the mouth of the so-called champions, deviants, and fanatics. None. Now, having said that, I want to ask you a simple question. What is missing from the topic of these headlines? What is missing? Think about it. Talk about religion, rules, constitution, prices of essential goods, economy, blah, blah, blah. What is missing? Which has been hammered repeatedly, every week, every month, for a year. Sometimes in politics, what is not said is more important than what has been said or discussed. You know what is it? Let me tell you this. What is not said in this survey, which means if it's not even addressed or highlighted as an issue before the people, that means that issue which has been propagated, promoted, right, had no impact. But until the 9th of May 2019, they are still repeating this non-issue despite the survey. Despite the survey. Okay? What's the issue? Simple. Anwar Ibrahim must be the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Every damn week, month, half yearly, annually, up to the day of anniversary. The Deputy Prime Minister says, right, when Anwar becomes Prime Minister, I will retire and I will look over him. This was a paraphrase, right? The Deputy Prime Minister says, on anniversary, when Anwar becomes Prime Minister, I will retire. That was the key statement she made, all right, on her own. Weekly, daily, monthly, Rafisi, right, Nurul, Anwar, hammering, PM in waiting, first family in waiting, first dynasty in the making, right? And the organ, which I believe is a pro-Pakatan Harapan organ, way back, keep on in the articles almost every other day. PM in waiting, Anwar, why Mahathir have not chose Anwar as the Deputy Prime Minister? There's got a lot of confusion, a lot of problems, right? Setbacks, chaos, confusion among the electorate. Is that true? And try to blame whatever problems in Pakatan Harapan on the fact that, so-called fact, they allege that Mahathir has not appointed Anwar as the successor. But he said so many times. Anwar will succeed me when I stepped down. Anwar was the Prime Minister when I stepped down. The only point he didn't mention was the date. Rightly so, because there was no agreement among the Pakatan Harapan leaders as to when Tun Mahathir will hand over. But the point has been settled, according to him. To Tun Mahathir, he will hand over the baton to Anwar. So why the fear, the worry, all right, the anxiety? Will I be the Prime Minister? And this goes Anwar Ibrahim. The national narrative and conversation of the Pakatan Harapan coalition, and the silence is so deafening of the rank and file of the leaders as embodied in the cabinet as well as the Presidential Council. That is the main issue. Mahathir please appoint Anwar Ibrahim as the Deputy Prime Minister. But they never asked the question, if it's such an important demand by that camp, I thought I would ask the question, right? Hey, before Anwar became the president of PKR, Wan Izzat was the president, isn't it? Tun appointed her as the Deputy Prime Minister. Why don't you ask, you scumbags PKR members, as well as all the members of the Pakatan Harapan, who wants that scenario, that narrative, ask Wan Izzat, what is your agreement with Tun Mahathir? Do you want to serve full term as DPA? Or will you step down in tandem with Mahathir when he retires? Or why don't you resign now and give way to your husband? You see, that question was never posed within themselves, thus masking, all right, diverting the focus on Mahathir instead on what is Izzat. Surely, when they are alone in the privacy of their bedroom, they will discuss it. Anwar and what is Izzat? Nurul and what is Izzat? Ask your mama. Can you see now how the narrative? And this whole narrative, right, was twisted, turned, folded, unfolded, left and right, up and down, all kind of variations. 1 full year. And yet, in that survey by a Barisan Nasional mouthpiece, there was not even an issue before the people in the survey. That to me, my dear fellow citizens, is a condemnation in no uncertain terms that that narrative is irrelevant. That a country's future or direction cannot and will never be dependent on one person saying that I must be the Prime Minister. Period. Nothing else matters. I must be the Prime Minister. Okay. Now, to avoid any misunderstanding, I don't care, and many people don't care, whether Anwar will be the Prime Minister of Malaysia, because there are other more important issues. And if Tun Mahathir in his infinite wisdom were to appoint Anwar, that's not within our control of the rakyat. Period. That's a fact. Until next election. Alright? Anwar's not stupid. What is not stupid? Nurul is not stupid. Rafizi is not stupid. They know that. Alright? It's a matter within the coalition. So, when they keep on harping and harping, even on the day of anniversary, what are they trying to achieve? One whole bleeding year was wasted. Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz was, in a sense, correct to say that the first year, over a term of 5 years of government, represents only 20% of the 100% which any government has delivered. Okay? Which is very generous. She apportioned every year. What is expected is to achieve 20% each year. Okay? She's very generous to Pakatan Harapan. I would criticize her for that. But my question is, If a government can achieve more, why not? Therefore, I believe, she's very generous in the sense that the minimum they must achieve each year is 20%. Each year, so the end of 5th year, you achieve 100%. But I know, you can ask any management guru, CEO or chairman, they would not expect their organization, the people they lead, to only achieve 20% out of 100% in any one year. They will try to achieve more. If they can achieve 100% in 2 years, why not? So they'll be ahead all the time of their competitors. Do more and more and more. But never mind. Let's assume that we accept the generosity of Rafidah Aziz, a very brilliant man, a woman, very intellectual, so I would question her. But Tun Mahathir says the Pakatan Harapan government was rated as 5 out of 10. Just pass, barely. In percentage terms, 50% lah. Huh? Achieve 50%. That means if each year is 20% to be achieved, and your mark is 5 over 10, what interpretation means you've only achieved 50% of 20% of the 5-year expected of the government. That means you only achieve 10% in your first year instead of 20%. Therefore, you have to carry what you did not achieve, the 10%, to this year. Therefore, 219, you are supposed to deliver 30%. 20% of 219 plus what you did not achieve in the first year, 218, 219. Is it? You have to run twice as fast, work as hard, just to maintain the progression 2020. If not, you will again fail in your second year, and when you carry over to the third year, the same thing happens. So it's a danger, all right? I'm not faulting Rafidah Aziz. She's been trying to be very accommodative, all right? But to use a common denominator of 20% is dangerous. Because they did not ask the question. For fear of falling, what we have done differently, if you were to live again, all over again, from 2018 May to May 2019, then I believe there's only one conclusion. We have to run 3 times as fast as what you've done in 2018. Now, in the over period of 1 year, many people come up to me, Matthias, don't be so critical. They're working very hard. Some ministers go to office by 7 o'clock. They step to late at night, 12 o'clock. And I ask myself, wow, is that remarkable? Certainly not, I'm telling you. It's very normal in high-powered, motivated organization to go 18 hours a day. Peak performance. Because they want to deliver the best, not only for themselves, for their colleagues, for the organization, for the company, or for the country. You heard many comments, right? My God, we can't keep pace with Tun Mahathir, 94 years old. So again, we ask the question, right? What have you been doing all these years when you're in opposition? Playing with your thumbs and your toes? You promised heaven to Rakyat. You set a benchmark very high that we, the Pakatan Harapan leadership and party and government, will be a better government any time than the Barisan National Government. We have a fixed vision, we can deliver. Blah, blah, blah. All high propaganda. So on reflection, my dear people of Malaysia, am I really too harsh? I did not set the benchmark, they set it. So, if they fail to achieve this benchmark, are we entitled as of right to say, you fail to achieve your benchmark, your standard? Because we're very arrogant. If at all, and I may suggest, if we were to be relieved 218 again, they should be more humble and say, we don't have a government. For 61 years, we've been in opposition. We need to learn the ropes. Give us time. We will not be able to deliver any or most of our promises because we didn't expect to win. Be truthful, be honest. Matthias was the only person who says, right, we didn't expect to win. Why he didn't expect, I don't know. But there were people around him who told him, we will win, we guarantee we will win. Justice will prevail, truth will prevail. And prepared for that occasion. To start running from the get-go. Running from the get-go. All the relevant data, strategies were given, presented. But never mind. But at least he was honest. The first leader in Pakatan says, like, we didn't expect to win. Rightly or wrongly, he says, we didn't even know there was such a big hole. $1 trillion debt, ringgit, and what have you. Isn't that sad? I can show you, my fellow Malaysians, if the Pakatan Harapan government will not or cannot run 3 times and more as fast as what they done in 1 year, we are finished. We are finished. Because on the anniversary date of the Pakatan Harapan victory, the narrative is still Anwar Ibrahim will be the Prime Minister. And what's really sad was an announcement by none other than Lik Tsiang, excuse me, to say to Ahmad Hassan, I think, if Mahathir fails to appoint Anwar Ibrahim as the Prime Minister, in waiting to be the Prime Minister, in fact, I will resign from politics. Oh my God. First of all, it's a pompous statement. Self-exaggeration of his own importance. I'm prepared to walk away from politics if Mahathir doesn't fulfill his word. It's very insulting, isn't it? To Mahathir. Now, first, Rafisi says, in his war with Azmin as for the deputy president of the party, he says, I'm the only one who will guarantee the elevation of Anwar Ibrahim to be the Prime Minister. He lost to Azmin. Lost. Right. Over 6 months, nonsense were highlighted. Same narrative. And now, on the anniversary date, the wife, Deputy Prime Minister says, if he assumes the role of PM, I will retire and will watch over him. That is very significant. She has to watch over her husband. And then now, to re-emphasize the narrative, as far as they are concerned, Kisang says, if Mahathir does not appoint Anwar as Prime Minister, I will stop being involved in politics. See, it's all about individuals. Anwar Ibrahim, what is Izzah, Kit Siang, Nurul, and Rafisi. I would thought, she says, I would have thought Kit Siang or other says, enough is enough about PM and waiting. We've wasted a year. Let's focus how we fail, why we fail, and have the humility, sincerity to say, we have failed, we moved on. No. Things go on as usual. Then, the Sun newspaper on the 10th of May, Friday, was this picture. All right? Now below is a group photograph Okay? I highlight for you. On the anniversary of the Pakatan Harapan government, look carefully here. Who are sitting down on the armchair? Mahathir, Wadizar, and Gobindio, right? And in the scheme of things of the pictures of the entire cabinet, all right, Gobindio is not listed, right, as a senior minister. In any cabinet, the top cabinet members are Prime Minister, DPM, Home Minister, Defense Minister, Finance Minister, Economic Affairs Minister, and Trade. All right? Yet he sits on a chair. Why? Now, who is missing in this picture? Look carefully. All right? But anyway, I want to tell you, missing from this picture, for whatever reasons, is the president of Amanah, Kit Siap and Lim Guan Eng. All right? So, why this picture has only three? Guan Eng is the minister, finance, Mat Sabu, defense. If this picture is to capture the government of Pakatan as opposed to the parties of the coalition, right? Hurrah! Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, flanked by his deputy Datuk Sri Wan Azizah Wan Ismail, and Communications and Multimedia Minister Gobind Singh Dio, with cabinet ministers and their deputies at the Putrajaya International Convention Centre yesterday during an event to celebrate Pakatan Harapan first anniversary in government. Well, Anwar is not a minister, only MP. Muhyiddin is not in the sitting in the armchair, Home Minister. No one deputized for Wat Sabu to represent his position in government. Okay? Guan Eng. Now, I can assure you, when this picture was taken, the arrangement of three chairs is not by coincidence, I'm telling you. It was agreed by certain people. I won't mention name. Deliberately so. So, two leaders of, highest leaders of DAP, Kit Siang, Secretary General, Lim Guan Eng and Kit Siang, Amanah, Mat Sabu. Think. I'm not going to answer. But let me tell to Tun Mahathir, Kit Siang, Guan Eng and Mat Sabu, and Tan Sri Muhyiddin, I hear you, I see you, and I know what you'll convey. And it pains me that this picture on anniversary of Pakatan Harapan government is given this picture to the whole country to view. And the word is what? Hurrah! Huh? There you are. Hurrah! In bold. If you think star, or rather sun, is really giving hurrah to Pakatan, with this picture is anomalies. That's why I asked a question from the beginning of this video address. What is not said or shown speaks volumes. What's not said here in this survey speaks volumes. Alright? The narrative, Anwar PM in waiting, blah blah blah. The narrative of this picture is missing. Okay, so now, my fellow Malaysians, what should be the narrative or conversation which everyone in this country must be engaged in? Support for, defend against. If it is Islam, Bubutra interest, 90.2% minority. That means the bulk of the majority of Malays do not consider that as a privilege or priority. They know what's going on, what at stake. So we have, all right, a minority, fanatics, deviants, bigots, turning a minority issue into a majority issue, and we fall for it. Some people asked, oh my God, will there be a May 13? See how sinister that is? Fear-mongering, seditious, supporting, once again, the narrative. Like he says, right? BN must win, will win. Because BN will be the only one who will defend, protect, blah, 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 of the Buputra. Privileges and interests to rulers, what have you. Like I said before in my previous video, Allah cannot be destroyed. All powerful. Scumbags want to defend Allah. When they can't even defend themselves, they're being exposed to persecution. Right? They have nowhere to stand. But they shout, Allah Akbar! We defend Islam. We defend the rulers. Why should the rulers need you to defend them? Their power, though constitutional, their rights are in the Constitution, the supreme law of the country. Supreme law. Yeah, you have all these fanatics running around, and everybody gets excited. And even Pakatan Harapan played that game. So why are all these issues, which are shown to be minority issues, given the prominence that is given by the mass media? Think about that, okay? Think about it. Now, this is especially for the Pakatan ministers. Let me share something about what I know about Tun Mahathir. If you're a true leader, and you're very self-confident, I know what you're doing, you never need a pat on the back by Tun Mahathir or your superior. Because you will know whether you have delivered, achieved the standard, the benchmark, which either the leader set for you or you yourself set yourself. Without needing a pat on the back, because you will know. In working with Tun Mahathir for over 20 years, I can assure you, I never sought praise. Not only that, I received praise directly from Tun Mahathir. Not relevant, not necessary. At most I can recall, he would just say, thank you, Matthias, and that's it. Should I expect more? That Tun Mahathir must show me his appreciation or gratitude? No. Because if you're serving the country, you're serving the people at a higher cause. You need not have, unless you're a very weak, insecure, incompetent person, to need a pat. Yeah, you're doing very well. YB, blah, 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 blah. But a true leader, self-confident, yet humble, eager to work the maximum, you will know you fell short. You'll be the first to tell the leader, Tun, I'm sorry I fell short. I'll try better. I doubled my effort. I'm sure all of you have used the media to try to boost your ego. They're doing well, to impress Tun Mahathir. Let me tell you, Tun Mahathir is not impressed. I won't be impressed. But I'm very happy to say, for the first time in my relationship with Tun Mahathir, he's never done this. He's given marks to the people working under him. First time! And I wonder why did he give marks? He's telling these people, my benchmark is very high. I'm 93 and turned 94. I'm working my guts out. Your 15 hours a day may be impressive to some other people, but not according to the benchmark expected of them by the Rakyat. So he's saying indirectly, I give you 5. I could have failed you. But I give you 5 out of 10. In the hope and expectation, they'll do more. So, I will end here by saying to everyone in the country, don't let your guard down. There's enough excuses. They're not little boys or children, right? Okay? They are politicians, matured, experienced, throwing bricks in parliament when you're opposition. Okay? They ought to know better. They have fall short, doesn't mean we lower the bar, we lower the benchmark. They talk and shout and scream, alright? And propagate meritocracy. The best must enter the university. Blah, 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 blah. Now here comes the wonderful acid test. Tun Mahathir has graded you 5 out of 10. You are below merit. You scrape through the passing mark. Now, do you understand? So don't ever preach meritocracy, excellence, and what have you, when you have not shown by your practice to strive at least. You may not reach the benchmark. Shows you're striving to achieve the benchmark laid by Tun Mahathir. You know? Now he said, someone criticized him, oh, Mahathir now, from 2 years since, it's going to be maybe 1.3 years. Can you fault him for saying that? And we want to be a practice of 3 years? Because you screwed up the first year. You got 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. You scold people for giving 5 out of 10. Right? No merits. And when they are passed, allowed to enter universities. So my question is, right? Pakatan, 5 out of 10. Why are you still in government? Why don't you be replaced by your colleagues? But Mahathir was very, very generous again. I will not revamp, reshuffle the cabinet. He's giving you face, understand? Face! Alright? So please, wake up. Because if you don't, alright, the mess will hit you in your face. And to Anwar Ibrahim, this is my personal message to you. I saw you in Sungai Buloh prison. You've stayed in prison longer than I have. Fine, I accept that. No comparison whatsoever. You have suffered. I understand that. Your family has suffered. I understand that because my family also suffered when I was in prison. Twice. I went on hunger strike twice. But please, please, you are not important in the overall scheme of things of the government. In that sense, you are not the priority. The country is a priority. The constitution is a priority. And while you are not in government, you said so many times, you reform the parliament as a backbencher, blah, blah, blah. Nur said the same thing. Rafizi said the same thing. But today, as a critical rakyat, I haven't seen anything concrete. Can we please have an assurance from you? Work your ass out to deserve to be the Prime Minister. Not entitlement, to be deserved. So that when and if your party members have no longer any doubts to your credibility and you assume that post, God willing, the people will celebrate with you for the high achievement. But if you carry on in the way you're going on, with your mouthpiece in PKR, I'll show you, you will fail. Because you said yourself, Anwar, I will not be the Prime Minister until Tun Mahathir has cleared the mess for you on a clean slate. And recently you said what? Even if I'm offered the post of Finance Minister, I will not take it. Because during your time as tenure as Prime Minister, you said you had 10% growth. As if all your policy was instrumental, was the pillar, the foundation. But every country in Southeast Asia and ASEAN were having high growth, tiger economies. But if you were so excellent, so thorough in your expertise, when the ASEAN crisis came and smashed the economies of ASEAN countries, including North Korea and Japan, Malaysia would not be affected, isn't it? Would shine and remain a tiger economy. But it was also smashed in the smithereens as part of the entire contingent. Okay? So please pause. Why do you not say, I will be the finance minister in preparation to be the prime minister? You shy away. It's your words, not mine. So as a citizen, as an educated person, it makes me think. If Biden cannot deliver a clean slate because his time is best, will you be able to do so? Because you don't have the intellect as that of Mahathir or the experience. How can we repose our confidence in you, Anwar? Please. I'm not appealing to you as a person, as a fellow citizen. I'm not attacking you. I want the best for my country. If you say you're the best person to lead, show me how. No more rhetorics. No more politicking. Brass tacks. Okay? In simple language. Starting with, Tun Mahathir, I thank you for your leadership and evaluating the entire team as a 5 out of 10. I also thank you for not having a cabinet reshuffle. Even though on merits basis we ought to be reshuffled. And we will not issue the battle cry, meritocracy, equality, blah, 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 when we have not achieved or strive to achieve equality of performance among ourselves. Alright? To be selected by meritocracy. But give us time, give us a chance. We are now 10% behind in year 2. We have achieved 30% in year 2 based on Tanzil Rafida's generosity. But let me assure you, my fellow Ryan, we will achieve not only 30%, we will definitely achieve 50% as a medium. So 50 plus 10, 60% in the second year. And by third year, we will be ahead of our target. As is construction project management, right? You're ahead of schedule, thereby reducing the costs and making more gains. Have you heard of that remark? Ahead of schedule. We delivered before the contractual time. Then people say, my God, you slashed the costs, you achieve ahead of schedule, you're brilliant. Achieving on schedule is not brilliant, huh? It's average performance. Falling back, you fail. The benchmark to judge a good leader is, right, and your team, did you deliver on schedule? Okay? On schedule or before schedule? The only criteria we expect of our leaders in a situation whereby we are such a mess, we can't glorify ourselves, we have to do better than just maintain status quo. We will be ahead of schedule. We will work our guts out, our ass out. It may be 18-hour day, 7-day week. You know, I'm going to share something with you, right? And hopefully, Tun Mahathir will also accept this as my last remark. It's very often in multinationals, before the financial year is out, in essence, the next financial year, all the heads of the subsidiaries or divisions gather together to present their budget of their division or subsidiary, right? In a holistic picture with all the other colleagues, and they present to the group CEO and chairman and the board of directors. So that everyone has a holistic picture how the entire organization, head office, subsidiaries, what have you, moving ahead. And normally the chairman says, okay, this year I expect, right, 20% increase in sales or X% in profits. But surely not every company will do it. Some will say, sorry sir, I can't give 20%, these are my reasons, I can deliver 15%. If circumstances change, I will sit there. Frank discussion in front of all the other colleagues. Because quite often, policies and effort are interrelated, overlapping. I'll give you an example, right? 5G is a technology, is an instrument. Surely, the advancement of 5G technology will impact on all the other ministries one way or another. So if I look at 5G in itself, and do not relate how I can improve my colleagues in other ministries, I'm talking cock. This is a fad. How will it affect Ministry of Science, Trade, Finance, right? So when you come together as a brainstorming session, as an example, you have a different perspective. But there's only one regret I have when two parties says, on Labour Day, 1st May, every minister must come back to work and present to him one by one. Good start. And I think he was valuing all of you on a basis, on a one-by-one basis, whether you pass or you fail. He rated all of you as 5/10. I was hoping that he would gather all of you in one room, a retreat, weekend retreat, brainstorm. Everyone says, what is your vision for the country? This ministry, that ministry, this ministry, that ministry. And to your colleagues around you, how can you support her or him in achieving her targets? She's your colleague, your team member. If she falls short, how can you help her? And vice versa. That was lacking. So simple a concept. An integrated, shared vision for excellence. With that, my dear fellow Malaysians, now you see why I delayed my video address. I'm not sure when I'm going to publish it, maybe on Thursday or on Friday. But I took time to think, to research, to analyze. If what I say is a load of rubbish, by all means attack me. I'm not perfect, I'm not infallible. But I hope you agree with me that what I said makes some sense, because if we let our guard down and lower the benchmark, which they are criticizing all the time, don't lower the benchmark, instead of raising the benchmark, then we are in shits. And then the scumbags, fanatics, extremists, bigots will run riot with a false narrative. This is all false narrative, understand? This is not the main narrative and conversation which we as a nation must focus. With that, I'll conclude as usual. Please, surrender unconditionally to the will of Allah. Have absolute faith, come well what may be, hell or high water, under any circumstances, He will protect, defend, and guide us in all circumstances. You don't believe me? You try. You cannot work without that belief, that faith, that confidence. And it's sorely missing in the Pakatan Harapan. The spiritual guidance, the core of your being, your spiritual being, is so sadly missing. That's why you fall prey so easily to the taunts and the baits of the scumbag in past and the boss school. Why no shame? Why shame? There's no shame in being a crook, a federal rapist, a plunderer. You see? Because he can get away with it. Why? Because your personification of spiritual values is so lacking that he could supplant with his narrative. Malu apa? Bosku. Can you see now your mistakes? It's clear as crystal. But you miss it because you are so inward looking to yourself. I'm this, I'm that. Why be this, why be that? Stop it, please. Alright? Otherwise, the people will come up and rebel. And this time, no cause will be given to you. because you betrayed the trust and the faith and the confidence, right, reposed by right to you. It will be very sad. And you will never ever again regain power. Ever. This was a golden opportunity given to you by God's grace on a platter. You squandered it. So make up, catch up, and turbocharge for the future success. With that, thank you for your attention, and I bid you a good day. Thank you.